Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview for Dean Smith's maiden game, Villa against Swansea.
Dean Smith's first game in charge, a packed out Villa Park. It's potential to be a good day, isn't it, on Saturday?
I mean, I'm hoping he's more organised than you have been while I've been waiting for you to start this video. It's good. It's good to see Villa Park's going to be full. That's good news. I can't remember the last time everything was full and everything was open. 42,000 odd going to be there. It's going to be a really good occasion. I think the fans will be really up for it. I liken it to when John Gregory had his first game. It was like a proper Villa man first game, so I'm looking forward to it.
Before my time, Gregory.
Yeah, probably many people are watching this as well, which is sad.
Swansea coming to Villa Park, all this sort of optimism, and it's great to be able to come on a video and have a smile for once. So almost all set up now, isn't it, for Swansea to come here and just roll us over 3-0 now?
Well, it's obviously they're further ahead in their new manager with their blueprint than we're going to be. I mean, Dean Smith will have only met a couple of our players, or a few of our players that have been on international duty for a few days before the game, so yeah, we're not going to have much time to get his ideas across, but I'm fully expecting that we'll see a big improvement from what we've been served up over the last few months, because let's be fair, it's mostly been trash. So yeah. I think we can't fail but be any better. But I've said in the podcast, I think it's going to require patience. It's not going to be overnight. We're going to be there and playing the sparkling football that Brentford played. It's going to take time. He might not be able to play in that way initially. He's got to take stock of what he's got, who he can use, and then try and get his ideas across. And as I say, with it being an international break, it was a good time to hire a manager, but he hasn't had a lot of time with a lot of the players that are going to play on Saturday. Yeah,
do you think there's a case that we need to sort of almost temper our expectations a little bit to not expect that Brentford style to show up on Saturday, and that there will be signs of improvement, we hope, but not to expect those levels just yet?
I mean, it's a full house, isn't it? So I'm generalising a bit here, but some of the fans that obviously are coming back won't have been in the recent history because it hasn't been very good. They come back, and I always find they're the ones that have the really, really high expectations. So patience is required. As I've said, this needs to be an appointment for the next 2-3 years, and he's got to be given 2-3 years to get it right, in my opinion. If we start off terrible, then that's that. I think we just accept it, and we've got the right man in place, and we're trying to head ourselves in the right direction now at Villa with the recent appointments and what we're doing. But I'm fully expecting that even if it's not perfect, it's going to be better than what we've seen, because it's a new manager with a new style and new ideas. So we're going to be trying different things, and we're going to have a plan, and you haven't felt that we've had a plan this season at any point. Talking
to Swansea quickly, I think they've got a couple more points than us, but I was going through their fixtures before, and 9 of the 17 have come away from home. How much have you seen of Swansea? Anything that we need to look out for?
Not much. They've got the good lad up front, Ollie McBurney, who I tipped to be the top scorer in the Championship, which isn't looking a bad shout at the moment. He scored goals at this level last season with Barnsley, and he's scored goals for Swansea this season. I think playing a team like Swansea, I think maybe suits us, because they're not a team that's going to come and sit back. They're going to play in a similar way to what we're hoping we're going to see long term. They'll come out and try and pass the ball and try and play football the right way. So it actually should be a really good game with two teams that are going to go and have a go and try and do things right. So in a way, I think it may suit us that we're playing a team like that, rather than someone that's just going to completely sit back and make it difficult for us.
That's almost like stereotype's not the right word, but this sort of thing that we've built up when we've done these previews over time, that if a team comes to us and sits back, that's a negative for us. But under Smith, maybe it isn't. Maybe someone who's sitting back, maybe we will be able to break teams down now for once, that isn't a negative anymore, eventually anyway.
Maybe, I think you're right long term, that it might not harm us as much as it has done past Villa teams. I feel like it's something that's haunted Villa the whole time. Yeah. I've supported them where we've struggled to break teams down, but with someone like Grealish playing in Smith's way, I would expect that it's going to become easier over time, like you said, when we do face teams like that. But Swansea, I think I've not seen much of them, as I say, but I've heard good things about what they're trying to do this season and the blueprint that Potter's put on them. So, as I say, it should be a really, really good game.
Yeah, talk about Potter quickly. No, I don't think he's done a press conference yet. I haven't seen anything. Obviously, Dean Smith hasn't. We're recording this a little bit earlier than we'd like to. Joined in the summer, like you said earlier, he's further into that new manager blueprint and everything. Do you rate him as a manager?
I don't know a lot about him. He comes with a decent reputation. To be fair to him, he's carved out a niche for himself working in Scandinavia. He's come and he's got a good job. I would class that as a good first job in England. He's not gone the conventional route, but he's come with a good reputation, and I think the Swansea fans have taken to him and have liked what they've seen so far, because Swansea used to be one of those teams where it didn't matter who the manager was. They'd still play in the same way and they'd still have a structure in place, but then they had new ownership and it's kind of not been like that since the new owners came in. So they've kind of gone back to what got them success in the first place by hiring Potter. So I think it's a good appointment and a good move, and I'd expect them to be near, I've nearly said there or thereabouts then, I'd expect them to be near the top 6.
Yeah, I think I wrote on my notes that obviously both sides are going to be looking to get 3 points, as every team does, but those points are going to be vital because no doubt Swansea have got promotion aspirations as well, like we still have those. In I think it's either the interview or the press conference, Dean Smith was saying, yeah, promotion is still the target. We're 3 or 4 points off top 6, like there's no reason for that not to be the target. So 2 teams, who are going to be, like you say, there or thereabouts. Should be a good game. Yeah,
Swansea have done things a bit differently since they've come down as well. Obviously you've got teams like Stoke and like us in the past when we've come down they've get the parachute money. They still spend reasonably big money on players. Swansea haven't really done that. They've kind of, as I say, gone back to basics and gone back to what brought them success initially when they got promoted to the Premier League. So I think that's maybe what we'll do. I think we'll spend money, but we know that Dean Smith's got an eye for a player. I mean, you look at Ollie Watkins at Brentford so far in the last couple of years, he's done really well. So if we can start scoping some players like that and shopping around that market, you become a bit more self-sustainable, and I think that's probably the model Swansea will go for as well.
You mentioned McBurney before. Is there anyone else that we need to be looking out for on Saturday?
You know what, I can't even picture the Swansea squad. Really good preparation. I can't think of anyone that plays for Swansea other than Wilfred Bonney, who you mentioned before.
Yeah, I don't think he's played this season, so he's not one to look out for.
They've got Tom Carroll in midfield, haven't they? He's a neat and tidy player, but I think it's like with Swansea, it's more of the team thing. It's not really about the individuals, they're more of a team.
A nice cop-out answer.
Thanks.
Well, let's move on to something you know a little bit more about, our team. This is one that I think you talked about in the podcast, so I won't go crazy on what you think specifically. But I skimmed through stuff when I was editing. I heard a bit about which goalkeeper plays. Like I think you said it could be any 4 of them if you include Sarkic as well.
It really could be.
So there is that little bit of the unknown. I've seen people like posting their team lineups on Twitter in the week of people like throwing in like Adore Hayes was in there, O'Hare was making squads as well. That people are looking at it and going, well, these are the guys that he's seen since he's come and took over, because a lot of the main players, quote unquote, are away on international duty. So will he opt for, a Lansbury who was there, who wasn't being featured before, James Bree, people like that?
I think he obviously is spending Thursday and Friday with the players that he hasn't seen for the rest of the week. Let's not forget he's only been training with them since Monday.
Yeah.
As well, so it's still 2 whole days with the players that have been on international duty. So he's not going to not pick someone on the basis that he's only seen them for a couple of days. So I've had a go at what I think he'll do, and I based a little bit of it on what Stu, when I did the video with Stu from Soccer AM, what he was saying about the system and stuff. So I've tried to pick a team based on that, and if you haven't watched that video, it's probably worth going to check it out, because personal opinion is not because of me, but I think it's a really, really, really good video and interesting to hear.
I'll put a link below.
Interesting to hear what Smith's done. So I've gone with Neeland in goal, Bree keeping his place at right back, Neil Taylor keeping his place at left back. I think Twanzebe and Chester probably pick themselves, because there isn't really anyone else other than Jednak, and I don't think we'll see Jednak play much at centre back under Smith. Bjarnason, McGinn and Horahan as a midfield 3, with McGinn and Horahan having licence to really, really push on under Dean Smith's system and tactics. I've gone on the right, Balassi and Grealish on the left, just because Stu said that the people that were classed as the wide players played really, really narrow and were more number 10s and attacking midfielders, so I think that'll probably suit Grealish. And then leading the line on his own, Tammy keeps his place because he's been scoring goals, and as much as we obviously know that Smith rates Hogan and has got the best out of Scott Hogan in the past, he hasn't really played this season. He had 10-15 minutes for Ireland the other night. I'd be surprised if he chucked him straight in, but maybe long term I think Hogan and Abrahams would have the makings of a decent partnership.
I like the idea of that team. I think we spoke about it on WhatsApp earlier, and there was a couple that, in my opinion, I don't think McGinn will play, because he played for Scotland and he was looking a little bit fatigued before when he was playing for us. So I won't be surprised if he dropped out for Bjarnason Who is it?
Well,
But
I'd be honest in my team.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I don't know who for then.
A winger.
I had it as Bjarnason and Horahan as a 2, with Grealish as a 10, and Balassi and Adoma, I think. So like 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
With Bjarnason and Horahan expected to chop and change, drop back, come forward, Grealish to float around in it, what I think is his best position. But like you say, if he's technically classed as left winger, as you look at it as like a 4-3-3, but he's going to be cutting in and playing as a 10 anyway, run in off Balassi and Tammy Abraham, then, I mean, if that works, then happy days.
Yeah, but really, no one can pick it because we've got nothing to base it on. Really, I've just gone with what I think sensible based on what Stu said. It's the team I've gone with there that I think Smith will pick. I like as a team. It'll probably be one of our better team selections this season. But it's a chance for players now, perhaps that haven't played much. Someone like El Ghazi played a couple of games, did okay, scored, got an assist, and then completely disappeared. And it was clear he was not a Bruce signing, it was clear he was a Mendes signing, but Smith's used to working in that way, so someone like El Ghazi, Smith might take a shine to, you might see him start on Saturday. Lansbury you've mentioned, although I'm not sure he fits in to the brand of football that Smith likes playing, because I'm not sure, from what I've seen of Lansbury since he's been at Villa, I think he would struggle with high intensity football. He's definitely a good footballer, but I'm just going off what I've seen over the last couple of years. He has never looked fit to me since he's been here. He's never been that player that I saw playing for Forest, but I'd love him to come prove me wrong and show that he can be a real player for us, but I don't think we'll see someone like that straight in. But he's got a chance to put a claim in for a shirt with a fresh manager, as of many others.
Yeah, and that's a nice place to be in, especially for a new manager to come in. And I mean, there's been a lot of talk of Smith being a Villa fan and all this sort of thing, and he's very almost cleverly played that down a little bit.
Yeah.
How much will he have seen of Villa as a fan when he's been with another club? Will he have? I know you always say like, "Oh, I've got an eye on their results" and all that sort of thing, but is he looking at it as a manager going, "Oh, that's not what I'd do," or "I'd play this guy," or whatever? Like, is that the sort of thing that if he's a fan and he watches games and keeps up with it still? I know obviously the Brentford, if that's his job, he's fully committed to that. But maybe he's been looking from afar, going, "Oh, I really fancy X player playing left wing or whatever," and that he can come in now and go, "Okay, I want to do that."
I mean, Dean Smith strikes me as one of those managers that would probably watch a lot of football, and we all do it when we watch games. I do it when I'm watching any team, even if it's not Villa. I think, well, I wouldn't play him there. I'd do this, and football managers will be the same. So he'll definitely have an idea of what he's doing. He'll have looked out for Villa's results, and he'll probably have his family giving him opinions, because they've probably been watching Villa all season in the last couple of years. So they'll be saying, for Callum O'Hare, for example, they might be saying there's a real player there who's not had a chance. And as I say, I think we'll see him in the 18, because I think we're crying out for something a bit different on the bench, that creative spark to bring on, and I think he could do that. And Doyle Hayes, to me, from what I've seen, is the closest we have to a Ryan Woods, who was a big player under Smith at Brentford. So he's definitely got a chance of being in the 18 and pushing himself into the first 11 sometime soon as well. So it's just interesting, isn't it? It's fresh, it's a change. It was I backed Bruce for too long, as I said on the podcast. It was definitely time for a change. It was overdue. So it's exciting for us now to look forward and talk about these things that might happen, because it become a bit stale under Bruce. Players, someone like Lansbury, knew he was never going to be first choice. Bjarnason was always in and out of the team. El Mohammadi was always playing, and I like El Mohammadi, but Bruce had his favourites, didn't he?
Yeah.
Conor hadn't always been treated the best, just dropped for no reason. So I think players will see, and I don't think Dean Smith's particularly like that, and I think Stu said as well, he likes to rotate a bit. He won't keep it the same. He'll freshen up. He'll keep the spine the same, but he'll freshen it up every week or so as well. So everyone's got a chance now to show what they can do and stake a claim for a player. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday. It's probably the most I've looked forward to a game. I mean, I didn't even look forward to the playoff final because of the ramifications of not winning, and obviously it was horrific. But so this is the first time I've really looked forward to a game, probably since Wolves.
Saw a comment, I think, on the podcast saying that I'm looking forward to hearing you guys talk about tactics rather than a lack of tactics for a change. It feels like we sort of almost, in these previews, we're no tactical geniuses. We're not managers.
Speak for yourself.
I'm definitely speaking for myself, but as a whole, we sort of have to sit here and sort of second guess things and read into press conferences and stuff. And when there isn't really a style of play, which we didn't have under Bruce, you can't really. There's no long term aim to like say we can assess Bruce Smith's first team his first team selection on Saturday, and then you can take that into the next podcast and say, right, is this going to be a long-term thing? And over the next 4, 5, 6 weeks, we'll start to see his style of play hopefully come in. There'll be something there to sort of hang our hat on and go, right, this is what's happening with Villa now, this is who we are, and this is our style of play, this is the team that we go for, this is our best team. And so far this season, we don't really know what that is.
No, it's interesting to have a fresh set of eyes on it. I'm not sure, obviously we know, because we change formation and personnel most weeks, that Bruce wasn't sure what his best system was, and he was just hoping to just stumble across something. Because to be fair, I think at periods last season, that is what happened. He did stumble onto things like when Keenan Davis came in because there was no one else, and he did well. He stumbled into things. A few Hutton at left back worked. That hasn't worked this season, but it worked last season. And again, he kind of stumbled upon it because Neil Taylor got injured. So there was little things last season that just seemed to click into place, and it didn't happen for him this season. Nothing has really clicked. Even when we've won games at the start of the season, we were lucky. It wasn't great, and we were getting worse. So now there's a chance for us to get better, and it's full house at Villa Park. We know what the atmosphere can be like when Villa Park's at its best. And I just hope that people are patient, and you've got, like in the whole end, you have these people that if you start tippy-tappy and passing the ball around, which is what we've been asking for, some people don't like that. And they say, forward, get it into the box. I just hope there's some patience, and they appreciate that Dean Smith is probably going to want Villa to play football the right way. And a bit like England, like Southgate's saying about taking risks and stuff, he wants his players to be brave on the ball and take risks. And if you make a mistake, so be it, that you learn from it for next time. So if our players are trying to play in a new way and they do make mistakes, don't get on the backs, get behind them. Let's try and make the whole club one again and try and get Villa promoted this season. I mean, it might not happen this season, and if it doesn't sound like it's a disaster in Perslow's eyes. It sounds like we're planning for the long term, and we've no divine right to go up, and we've started the season really badly, but we're lucky that we're still in touch and that there isn't any standout teams really in the Championship so far this season. So really, after all that, anything could happen.
So we'll end with predictions. I think we both got Millwall spot on, didn't we?
I think so. I can't remember. I'm struggling to think with what I predicted in the podcast. I think I went for 3-0, so I'm gonna have to stick with that.
Yeah, obviously we did our predictions, and I went back to check for the month, and I've gone 2-0 Villa, and that was done at a time when I think Bruce had been sacked by then. Yeah, I sort of looked at it and thought, hopefully we'll have a new manager in by then, and that's the game we win. Which, turns out that we got Millwall right. So, I'm going to go 2-0 Villa, and I've put on my notes Hogan to come off the bench to score, just because it's that little fairy tale story.
You've robbed what I was going to say, because I was going to say that.
It's perfect, isn't it, that he comes in from the dark and bags a goal for us.
I'm going to go 3-0 Chester, Abraham and Hogan.
Convincing.
Although I've just gone on about the way that Dean Smith plays football and stuff, and then I've picked obviously James Chester to score, which would obviously be from a set piece, so that's not very clever. So that's it for today's match preview show. If you have enjoyed this video, then make sure you're clicking the thumbs up button and giving the Villa View a big old like, and also subscribe to the channel with your post notifications on if you're not already doing that. But it's good to see that we hit 13,000 subscribers this week, so thank you very much to each and every one of you. Comment below with your predictions and your thoughts ahead of the Swansea game. We'll be doing fan cams after the game in the usual spot. Negotiations are underway as to who it will be doing the fan cams, but we'll let you know in due course. If it's raining, Rollo will put the frighteners on and we'll be under the roof of the Trinity, so make your way there if the weather is looking a bit suspect. If you haven't caught the podcast from this week, then go back and check that out. Plenty of talk about what's up and coming for Villa and Dean Smith and what we think's going to happen, so check that out. It's all still very relevant, and if you haven't done already, go and check out that video with Stu from Soccer AM as well, because it's very, very informative. Thanks again for all your support. Stick with the channel, stick with the Villa, up the Villa. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.